And you should be seeing the glory that is a pick ban phase Earthspirit.
Radiance ban.
We see him all the time getting banned out. Well, this game is going to be no exception. He gets banned out first by Death by Snoo Snoo. One of those heroes that, when in the hands of a high-impact farming player, can go incredibly far. I've seen it time and time again. You see players like Arteezy, you see players like Dendy, these heroes that love to be mobile, love to get farm, and love to go around and kill people, picking up this hero and putting it to absolute amazing use. So he's going to get banned out first by Death by Snoo Snoo. Obviously, a lot of individually skilled players on No Earthspirit. You should all recognize Fantasy from NEL as well as Relic. And No Earthspirit are going to go ahead and take out AA and Doom, Ancient Apparition and Doom, while Death by Snoo Snoo, they go ahead and take out the Invoker. So some heroes that we typically see getting banned out, obviously every single game. I mean, Invoker, he's been really strong ever since his buff up to the Quas Wex build. He can still go Exhort. I've seen a lot of Invokers go Exhort, but it is situational, and he's just a really good hero to have. AA, a nice support. That Ice Blast is incredible. And Doom, well, we all know Doom. He's a bane of all of our existences. So Lycan's going to be picked up first by No Earthspirit. And Lycan is a hero that is very good on many fronts. And, you know, he's always seen play, but in a lot of instances, he hasn't really been brought forth into his full potential, especially going back into the last couple of patches. But now, in this current patch, we've seen Lycan just absolutely skyrocket in popularity, and it's mostly because of the fact that he's an amazing pusher, and he gets the farming done. He gives a buff up to your entire team, which gives good damage to everyone, and I mean, you leave him alone for 5 minutes, and he's going to come out with his BKB, his Vladimir's Offering, and maybe an Assault Cuirass. And that is really scary when going up against a hero like Lycan. I mean, you take a look at his ultimate, the Shapeshift, which gives him max movement speed. You cannot slow him down. The only way to lock him down is hard stuns, which, I mean, Crystal Maiden, a hard stun will be very good, but you can't lock him down with any sort of slow, and he just does an insane amount of damage. And his early Roche potential really is the kicker for this guy. I mean, an early Aegis can mean pushes, early towers, even in some cases a very early Rax. So definitely one of those heroes that you want to secure up first, or else he will be taken away, especially when he's not getting banned out. But again, we talked about the ways that you can lock him down. It's not slows, but it is hard stuns. And a stun that goes through BKB or a lockdown that goes through BKB, Batrider gets picked up by Death by Snoo Snoo. Another hero we've seen quite a bit get pulled out and played to good extent. I mean, it's mostly because you've got all these heroes that don't really get locked down easily, can pick up BKBs, and Batrider goes through the BKB, he lassos you up, and you really have no way to stop it, because if he has Blink Force Staff, he'll pull you right into his team, and then you've got to deal with a Crystal Maiden with the Frostbite and any sort of right-clickers / lockdown that the team has picked up. So I imagine Death by Snoo Snoo are going to be running the support Crystal Maiden, the Batrider, either in the mid or off lane, and then, well, they pretty much have an open canvas right now. I mean, they can pick up another support and throw in a carry for a tri-lane and grab an offlaner, throw the Batrider mid, or do that same thing except throw the Batrider in the offlane and grab a mid. So they can really do whatever they want right now. No Earthspirit doesn't have a lot of insight into what exactly they're doing, but they're going to go ahead and push on with their own agenda, and that's going to be the Vengeful Spirit, the minus armor, the swap, these high mobility and high effectiveness skills coming out, especially for a support who has a hero like Lycan on your team. What that minus armor is going to do is it's going to help boost the damage of the Lycan as well as the Wolves to secure kills. And the Magic Missile, the stun from that, is incredibly good, as well as the Nether Swap for getting heroes in position. I mean, the Vengeful Spirit, in more ways than one, is pretty much one of the better heroes, maybe not one of the best heroes, to go against the Batrider, because he initiates with his Blink. If the Vengeful Spirit is quick enough with the fingers, a quick Magic Missile to stop the Force Staff away, or a quick swap can really screw up the Batrider. But with the Rubik and the Lifestealer banned out, it's going to be a Centaur War Runner getting picked up by Death by Snoo Snoo. Can't say I'm surprised, but, you know, I'm going to go back a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, where I said that I just did not see the potential of this hero. Well, now I do, and it's really showing me because, you know, one of the ways I saw him played was to use his ultimate for initiations and escapes only, and that is what really showed him to be a weak hero. But I've seen a lot of teams now, they use his ultimate for what it is. It's a team fight control, where that slow and damage that it does when heroes collide with enemy heroes is incredible to watch. I mean, it just does so much damage. When you've got a Batrider who loves to get up close and personal, the Centaur, of course, loves to get up close and personal. The Stomp and the Double Edge are an insane amount of damage in and of themselves, but the Stampede will really seal the deal, especially with a hero like Lycan and two quasi-squishy heroes like Vengeful and Dazzle. It'll do a lot of damage, and it will do it fast. Dazzle, though, with the Shallow Grave, is going to be able to keep the Lycan alive to do the damage. Abaddon gets picked up, though. That's not something I entirely expected out of this draft, but I can see what use it would have, keeping the Batrider, keeping the Crystal or Centaur from getting locked down by the Vengeful Spirit. But it's going to be interesting. They might be worried about the possible pickup of a dual core with Mirana on no Earthspirit.
10 seconds to go.
Or any sort of other lockdown that they have. I mean, the Aphotic Shield is good to remove the Poison Touch, so I guess there's that benefit. But right now, they're dealing with massive minus armor right now. And you've got the Weave, you've got the Scream of Terror, the Wave of Terror from Vengeful Spirit. The Lycan is going to rip these heroes to shreds, and I guess that's why you pick up the Abaddon, is because you want to be able to stay alive, have a support that's quite tanky, and can keep his own heroes alive. But right now, Death by Snoo Snoo, they're missing a hard one-position farmer, and they could be going for a couple of quasi-farmers. You can run Batrider, Centaur as cores and pick up a third kind of quasi-carry core to run with this lineup. Meanwhile, no Earthspirit are going to go ahead and pick up the Dazzle. So they are continuing to find these high mobility stunner lockdown heroes. The Swap, the Hook, both do a good job at catching units and just making lives miserable. And another thing that's good to note about the Clockwork is he does have the Flare, which if the Centaur, War Runner, and Batrider pick up Blinks, I know Batrider obviously will, then it's going to be very difficult for them to blink in if their blinks get put on cooldown.
Dyer's pick.
So there's that interaction that they have to be careful of. I mean, even Crystal Maiden can pick up a blink on her own, so interesting to watch. Nyx Assassin and the Storm Spirit get banned out. Nora Spirit taking out the Storm Spirit. They're fearing the mid pickup by Death by Snoo Snoo, and well, there we go. The sort of quasi-carry, quasi-core, and is going to be a mid Outer World Devourer. That's a hero I haven't seen in a long time, and you know, it brings up memories where this guy was first pick, first ban, and now if he's not banned, he sometimes gets picked. Otherwise, you just don't see him in the drafting phase anymore, and it's really interesting to see how a hero can fall off that hard, but I mean, it's mostly because he doesn't really have great push, and his counter push isn't amazing as well, but he does have a lot of heroes that on his team that work well with that. And right now, no Earthspirit, they need to pick up a mid of their own if they don't want to run the Lycan mid, and they're hard-pressed to find one. I mean, they could run for the Razor, they could run for the Viper, both of which have been noted to be pretty good against the OD. They could run for the Venomancer and really make things difficult on Death by Snoo Snoo by offering another pushing hero that, I mean, Death by Snoo Snoo, again, they don't really have incredible counter push. I mean, Batrider with the, well, Batrider himself, I mean, you've got the Flame Break as well as Firefly, not just Firefly, that can burn down waves. You got Crystal Maiden with Crystal Nova, but aside from that, I mean, Double Edge is sort of an okay counter push. I mean, you don't want to keep throwing that one out because you'll kill yourself. Abaddon, I guess the Aphotic Shield also does pretty well to clean up waves, but not as efficient as a Venomancer would be, as a Lycan would be. And instead, they're going to go ahead and grab a lone Druid who, You know, I haven't seen this in a while, so, you know, I didn't quite bring it up, but that's another one that goes very well mid versus the Outer World Devourer. The bear will harass him down. So we'll just go ahead and grab on out of the overlays here, and while this game is coming into fruition right now, we're going to go ahead and introduce the teams, and I'm going to do so in this mode right now, the showcase view, because I want to. So, for Death by Snoo Snoo, we've got the Raffle Stomper going to be playing the Abaddon. So Groovy will be picking up the Bat Rider. Reckoner on the Centaur War Runner. Crystal Maiden will be played by Orgy Spasm. And last but certainly not least, looming on the high ground, or the stairs I guess, will be Emperor L playing the Outer World Devourer. Meanwhile, on the other side of the river, we have Vengeful Spirit going to be played by Knave. Lycanthrope will be picked up by Elsa. Not the official name, but I don't recognize what his official name is, so I'll just go with that for now. Relica, though, a hero you should recognize, will be playing the Lone Druid, and Dazzle, picked up by Fan of Sion. And last but certainly not least, it's going to be Half Fried Egg Roll. Going to be playing the Tinkering Man himself, the Clockwork. So the horns are calling, the game is starting. Offensive War is being placed down by Death by Snoo Snoo. Going to go ahead and block up a couple of camps, fearing the Lycan or Lone Druid jungle, but they're both going to be laning, so no trouble there. Observer Ward catching out the rune for Ban Earth. Some pretty good vision coming out from Radiant from Ban Earth here. Keeping an eye on the rune. We have yet to see where they're going to place their other ward. It is on the... No, it is not on the Clockwork. Clockwork actually is going to be blocking up with Cog, so should be getting some pretty decent experience from that. Meanwhile, the two supports on the bottom lane, Raffle Stomper as well as Knave, looking to try to find kills. Well, actually, no, it's going to be Elsa, sorry. Fan of Sion and Knave are going to be trying to find kills. Raffle Stomper is on the other team. The warding, though, has been spotted out by Elsa, making a quick trip through the jungle, has noted that both camps are not spawning. Some good observations coming out by him. Mid lane, it's going to be interesting to watch this bear. They actually put the Bat Rider versus Relic here. A very smart decision, as OD would have struggled a bit versus Lone Druid, who can get pretty much free harass. And Elsa is going to go ahead and jungle up the medium camp here. So OD will be free farming the solo safe lane, contested only by Half Fried Egg Roll. But because he went ahead and got the blocks up, I mean, he's not doing any more because he realizes it's a solo lane, but it just means that Emperor L is going to be last sitting under tower, doesn't really have to fear the Clockwork. And overall, I mean, Clockwork wins pretty much any 1v1 mid lane, as long as it's a melee lane. With a hero like OD, I mean, you see this. He just throws out the Astral Imprisonment, grabs some extra intelligence for himself, and goes ahead and just last hits. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about anything. Orgy Spasm is going to get Aphotic shielded up on the bottom lane, and that's only to protect him from what little harass is coming out from Fan of Sion. And it's almost comical to watch. This is little Dazzle sitting up by the creep wave against a Centaur and an Abaddon. He's showing no fear in this lane, even though, I mean, he's got quite literally no support. But, I mean, he knows his limits right now. He knows that his team can come in and knows that there is only a point up in Crystal Maiden. Reckoner looking for the stomp, but isn't going to find it. And Knave is just going to find some solo XP. So the experience graphs should be skewing right now in the way of Ban Earth just because of the way they're running their lanes. Knave is pulling experience from the jungle. Elsa will be finding experience again from the jungle, taking out creeps in his own. Half Fried Egg Roll will be finding experience solo on this off lane, and Relic will be soloing up the mid for experience. So Groovy has actually got 2 stacks, 3 stacks, 4 stacks of Napalm. He is not going to continue going, but he probably could have. I mean, it's only a level 4 Lone Druid, no Entangle up on the bear yet. And it looks like Death by Snoo Snoo have migrated ahead on into Ban Earth's jungle here. Just going to try to deny as much experience from Knave as possible, but he's sticking in close. He actually gets the last hit with his Wave of Terror, so there's that going for him. Right now we can see in the mid lane, Relic is actually topping the last hits of the Outer World Devourer right now. And, I mean, sorry, the Bat Rider right now. And that's to be expected. I mean, Bat Rider, very low base damage. I mean, only gets his base damage from Napalm, but throwing that out as often as he could be. I mean, there's definitely a stick. Yep, there is a stick on Lone Druid. Hold on, a Frostbite out onto Fantasy Eon. He will get away. There is no mana for a Crystal Nova. And actually, Fantasy Eon, the little Dazzle, he's going to just run straight back into it. But Raffle Stopper's here, doesn't have Curse of Avernus, so he's not going to get the slow, but does get a lot of damage. And Fantasy Eon, again, just turning around and getting the auto attacks off. So overall, we can see that these solo lanes are definitely working out in Banner's favor. They are about 1,000 in the lead there, but I mean, it's nothing huge. But it will, if they keep going at this pace, it will start to show itself as the game progresses, continuing to get all this solo experience. And yeah, Lycan, continuing the jungle. He's finding decent farm. I mean, not very close to his Vladimir's offering, which it looks like he's rushing, picking up the Ring of Regen as well as Ring of Protection. One for two fingers. Fantasy Eon, he's going to get slowed up by the Crystal Nova. The stomp will hit. There is a double edge. Fantasy Eon, he pops the Shallow Grave. But the Reckoner is chasing Orgy Spasm as well. Actually, Orgy taking a lot of damage from towers. There is a magic missile catching him into tower range. Reckoner taking a lot of damage as well, but a Nephotic Shield isn't exactly needed. But if they did continue to go on him, they would have been immediately sorry about it. So just a very good dissuasion tactic. Both teams kind of backing away from that with not a lot of HP, but Reckoner going to go ahead and salve up. He's actually running straight back in. Fantasy Eon we'll start to play a little bit more conservatively now, as we can definitely see things are going a little bit more poorly for him as they were a couple of minutes ago. But taking a look at hero levels right now, and I am completely messing up on my drop-down charts. That is current gold. I am terrible at this. Okay, whatever. So we can just look. Level 6 up on the Lone Druid. We have a level 6 on the Clockwork. Level 5 on Dazzle, and level 2 on Venge. So not finding as much experience from the jungle as she'd like. There are 3 heroes right now for Death by Snoo Snoo walking into the enemy jungle. They are spotted by this ward right now, so they know exactly where their positions are. The pings are coming out, making their way for mid. And Elsa could be in a little bit of trouble right now, but he's walking back. He knows what's going on. Actually, Relic, he's going to spot them out. He's in his bear form. His bear, though, will get stopped. They frostbite him up. That could be an easy 300, 200 gold for them. Can they get it? Yes, they do. Reckoner will pick up the 300 bounty. That's better than a hero right now at this point in the game. I don't think the XP or assist gold shows itself there, but that gold is definitely something that they're going to take and put to the bank. Emperor L, in the meantime, though, is getting plenty of last hits. The hook will come out. Half right egg roll wants to kill the oh, man, look at these procs coming out from the battery assault, hitting every single one on the creep. Emperor L didn't get hit by a single one. Now he does. But if those had hit, this would be a completely different fight. I think half right egg roll would have gotten that. But the creeps taking up every single proc, and well, First Blood does get missed, but that is some space created for the Clockwork. Emperor L is going to have to pop a Clarity. But half right egg roll, using up all of his skills there. He has literally no mana. The Astral Imprisonment just rubbing salt in the wounds. Look at that, 52 mana on this Clockwork. He doesn't have enough mana for even, well, he barely will have enough mana for Cogs once he gets it. But 0.2 regen per second will show to be a little bit of a problem. Knave continuing to try to find experience in the jungle. He's back up to level 4 right now, which is not terrible at 7 minutes. Fantasy Eon, in the meantime, has gotten his level 6, so Weave is up for him, which is going to be quite helpful as the fights start breaking out. Relic on level 8. He's got a Glove of Haste, probably going for the Hand of Midas, as he doesn't seem to have picked up Power Treads, and they're not a typical item you grab on the Lone Druid. He's matching up with Emperor L in terms of last hits, which, I mean, is a bit interesting. It looks like Clockwork has done a pretty good job at trying to zone out Emperor L, but he hasn't gotten a ton of last hits for it. Reckoner is trying to chase up Knave, who does get slowed by the Crystal Nova, but even though the Aphotic Shield comes out, Reckoner is not going to continue to chase. And now a Firefly going straight on in. Fantasy Eon going to get lassoed up. The stun is there. Wasn't exactly needed. First Blood going to the double edge, thrown out by Reckoner. Can they get the return kill, though? Orgy Spasm taking a lot of damage, but it won't be enough, even with the Wave of Terror coming through. The damage wasn't quite there. It is only 1 point up in Wave of Terror, so it is 3 armor reduction and 30 damage. But it's still a pretty decent margin. They almost got the kill on the Crystal Main. He's actually going to walk straight on in, trying to get the kill on Reckoner. It looked like a magic missile getting thrown out for that one, but didn't quite get it. Meanwhile, Orgy Spasm is walking boldly through the jungle. There is, this ward doesn't quite see her, so they don't have no idea she's there, but I'm not quite sure she can solo initiate onto either Elsa or Relic. Gonna just throw down a sentry ward to try to block this camp once they do get it. Elsa is very close to it. In fact, has his Vladimir's offering. So 9 minutes, Vladimir's out. Going to look to try to get a Roshan up soon. Roshan is very easy when you've got the Dazzle as well as the Lycan. Either one of them picking up a Medallion of Courage. Lycan might be waiting for that, though, before he starts to Rosh, as it's a little bit more difficult to try to do so without the Medallion. Vlad's is officially out on him now, though. Taking a look at the graphs, we see Ban Earth definitely ahead in XP, and that's because of those solo lanes. But Gold only ahead by about 500, which shows some pretty even farm. I mean, we look at the graphs, and it shows that just that. We can switch on over to net worth right now, as it's hitting about 10-minute mark, and 3.7K up for Relic. That Hand of Midas is definitely going to be starting to come into effect soon. We'll start to see his net worth skyrocket. The OD, though, in this solo safe, I mean, he's got great farm, but 52 and 17 at 10 minutes is not incredible, which means that he's going to be a little bit behind going on into this laning phase. I mean, the Centaur War Runner has a Blink Dagger, so that's going to be helping him out if he can get into a couple of fights, pick up a couple of kills for that. But for right now, I mean, that's got to happen. Meanwhile, Elsa is going to go ahead and do what he does best, throwing the push onto the tier 1 bottom. Reckoner is just going to try to deal with the wolves right now. The hook, though, catches 2 in the cogs with the stun. There is a stomp, but it isn't quite enough. Reckoner will get immediately blown up. Emperor coming in with the Satan's Eclipse, not doing enough damage, but still quite a bit. He will get cleaned up, though, as Raffle Stomper will be next. The Aphotic Shield will not save him. Death by Snoo Snoo drops 4. Despite getting first blood, they do end up losing a ton in that lane. Death by Snoo Snoo will also lose their tower pretty soon. Bat Rider gonna die in Ban Earth's jungle there. So Fan of Sion doing great work, but the name of that fight was just Death by Snoo Snoo walking in and just getting completely surrounded. There was a Howl. There was a well, actually no, Lone Druid farming up in the off lane right now, immediately rotates up, and I mean, his farm is looking really good right now. Lycan could just rotate straight on into Rosh if he wanted to. Go ahead and grab some mana. The Vladimir's offering, giving him some decent mana regen, but not as much as you'd like. I mean, 1.8 isn't incredible. It's still pretty good. And Relic in this offlane, he'll probably look to push this tower really soon. He's going ahead on into the jungle, though, fearing the rotation. And Death by Snoo Snoo, they're licking their wounds right now, trying to minimize damage, not letting this tier 2 tower take, well, any damage. I mean, it's already taken about 100, 150, so not optimal. They would like it to be at 0 damage right now, but minimizing, as I said. Meanwhile, Ban Earthspirit are going up into the top lane. They want to do the same thing that they just did in the bottom, except they want to do it up here and try to take another tier 1 tower. This is what we talked about in the drafting phase right now. Ban Earth, they have incredible push, and right now Death by Snoo Snoo, despite having a couple of really good heroes, they don't really have incredible counter push. Now, half-right Egg Bowl, he is waiting in the sidelines. He does miss the hook, but the rest of Ban Earthspirit is there, and a solo TP, well, isn't exactly going to help you, as they are going to go ahead and take out this tier 1. They were waiting for that pickoff, so for the green light to just go all in on this tower. They were kind of holding 1 or 2 up to try to bait at least 2 or 3 heroes to TP in, but they got 1, which is completely optimal for them. So rocking on into the mid lane. Knave going in preventing any push. Reckoner, though, he wants to make stuff happen, but with an Observer Ward going up onto the high ground, his moves are seen. There's not enough range for the magic missile, so Reckoner is going to pick up an Invis Rune and make his way into his own jungle, where half-right egg roll. He knows that there's an Invis coming in. In fact, the target will be, I imagine, Fan of Xeon. As Reckoner, he does go in. The stomp does land. He catches 2 with a stomp. Now, with a double edge going in, pops the Stampede. The hammer is dropped. Emperor L looking for some kills. Doesn't find one yet. There he goes with the Arcane Orb. He's going to find Fan of Xeon. Reckoner chasing down half-right egg roll. Meanwhile, Lone Druid will find the tower. There isn't enough move speed for a lasso. No blink on Batrider just yet, but has the gold for it. Raffle Stomper going to find the bear for 300 gold. And a 1-for-0 engagement. Death by Snoo Snoo. They do not defend their tower, but they do get a kill in return. Elsa, though, being a pain in their sides as he goes ahead and puts significant damage on the bottom tier 2 tower. There is nothing forcing him off this tower just yet, as Reckoner, he's just walking down there. Tranquil Boost, the move speed is good, but not as good as he'd like. Support, though, going to be coming in from Knave. Nope, backs up. Elsa will probably be backing off pretty soon as well. Yep, Reckoner coming in, him backing off, and that'll be the end of that. A smoke, though, from Clock. Going straight on by the Observer Wars here. Looking for the hook. Can he find it? He will. Reckoner caught in the cogs with the Battery Assault. Reckoner is actually not taking any procs. There he goes. Takes a couple. The double edge does fly up. It is not enough to kill off half-right egg roll. He does end up falling, though, to the Crystal Nova. Although Orgy Spasm, the Aphotic Shield, keeping him alive. And Batrider going to get swapped out. Ends up finding Elsa, pulling him straight on back. Doesn't have the move speed, though, to pull him as much as he'd like. Emperor L, though, is there. Doesn't have Sanities, but does have Arcane Orb. Will picking up. Fan of Xeon without the Shallow Grave. Uses it on himself and is now going to try to run away. But there is no running for the little guy, as the Outer World Devourer is hot on your trail with backup. And that's a 3-for-0 engagement. Ban Earth, losing a couple of heroes and preserving the first tower of in a fight. Now, there's going to be an Astral Imprisonment on an illusion. They go ahead and clean it up. No big deal with that one. Taking a quick look onto the chats here. And everything's a go. I just need to keep checking on for technical difficulties. Remember, I am solo casting tonight. Unfortunately, my usual caster and partner in crime, Healy Umbrella, is not here tonight. He is kicking it in the Bahamas right now. A little too much information. Don't stalk him, please. But yeah, so he's not available tonight to cast, so I am picking this up solo. Didn't have enough time to talk about that in the beginning, as we did go straight onto this game. The first game that was on time that I think I've ever casted in CEVO, which is pretty amazing. I mean, Dota is a game of delays, of just everything, pauses happening, things coming up, technical difficulties. So to have a game that has minimal technical difficulties, I mean, we did have a player that wasn't able to connect the first time around, but it worked out on the second try. So, I mean, just good stuff coming out all around. A Radiance, though, 16 minutes is finished up on the Relic. That's a Hand of Midas Radiance done. This bear is looking pretty scary. And now he's going to go to work on this tier 2 tower. Meanwhile, Roche is being done, just keeping him occupied. Fan of Xeon immediately cleaned up. They actually commit the Sanity's Eclipse, so he isn't able to Shallow Grave himself. And they're going to go ahead and pick up 1-for-0. The bear is also falling. Arcane Orb will clean it up. Crystal Maiden is getting cleaned up as well, but goes ahead. The Astral Imprisonment will keep Orgy Spasm alive. Half-right egg roll. There's a 4-staff Emperor L. He wants him. He needs him. He's going to throw out the auto attacks. Will he get him? He will. Emperor L. He's going to spot out the Roshan in the meantime. They're going straight on in. Can they get the Astral? They will. Can they clean up Roshan in time? They're going for it. They do clean up. They get the Aegis. Emperor L is going to be the one on it, but he should be dying soon as the Bear Radiance is dropping him down. Meanwhile, an attempted TP from Raffle Stomper won't be enough. Outer World Devourer, Emperor L is going straight on out, and Lycan doesn't have the movement speed to catch up to him. So Roshan does fall, and it falls to death by Snoo Snoo, but they end up losing 3 in the meantime. They preserve their mid-tier 2 and end up picking up a couple of kills on the back line, most notably Fan of Xeon, as well as our main man Half-Right Egg Roll here. But this tower should be falling pretty soon, as you've got Lycan Wolves, Lycan, as well as the Bear just going to town on it. The Radiance Burn cleaning up all waves. And it's 11-7 right now at 18 minutes. We can take a quick look at the graphs and showing exactly what we'd expect. The gold going the way of Ban Earth, and that's just because there are no towers down for Death by Snoo Snoo and 5 down for Ban Earthspirit.
Something about that bottom tower.
So Groovy's going to get caught out in his own jungle, cleaned up immediately. The hook was committed for that one, but well worth it. 12-7 now. Death by Snoo Snoo on the run. They want to defend Tier 3. They can't really force any fights aside from this. And Clockwork, he doesn't have Aghanims just yet, so he's got 35 seconds on his hook, but they don't care. This tower is already at half HP. Reckoner going to go in, throw the stomp down, but there is an Astral. Elsa doesn't get stunned up just yet. He's going straight back onto this tower. They have nothing they can do to stop this. They're going to go onto the racks. Reckoner, he's trying to make something happen. He goes in, throws the double edge, but immediately magic missiled up. Astral imprisonment to keep him alive, as well as the Photic shield, but he is caught in a very bad position. Now, he's actually going to get away, but the racks will be the collateral. Now, Death by Snoo Snoo looking for something. They go ahead on in. The stomp flies, only hits the Bear, as well as a couple of Necro Creeps. Double edge cleans up the Bear. In the meantime, though, we have Emperor L getting destroyed by Elsa. Reckoner going to go down as well. The GGs get called as Raffle Stomper goes down. 17-7 is the final score. The game ends with a team wipe. 19 minutes and 48 seconds. The Ancient will fall. Ban Earth versus Death by Snoo Snoo. Ban Earth take game 1. You've been watching Chicago Ted. You can follow me on Twitter at TedCast. Stick around, guys, because game 2 will be coming up after a short break.